The Sword Lance is one of the best weapons in the new Elden Ring DLC. It not only has a sleek design to it, but it also deals one of the best damage types in the game: piercing damage. In all of Elden Ring, there aren't too many bosses that have much piercing resistance at all. So we take this and then combine it with probably the best status effect in the game, Bleed, which, by the way, has actually gotten stronger because of a certain armor set released in the DLC, which we'll talk about later. And finally, we use an old Ash of War, Blood Tax, which was pretty mid before, but when used with this new weapon and armor set, the game becomes kinda easy. Because not only are you dealing an insane amount of damage, you're also getting a good amount of lifesteal that comes straight from the Ash of War. Out of all my DLC playthroughs so far, I've probably had the least deaths with this one, because it was kind of impossible to die sometimes. Anyway, I am very excited to show you guys this build, so let's get into the guide. Alright, so boom, here's the build. Here's the build page. I know some of you just stop the video here, copy everything, and close the video. There you go. Okay. But anyway, if you are here to listen, this is what the build is. Alright, we are using the Sword Lance. Okay, again, obtained. First thing. So I'm gonna say how to obtain the Sword Lance, but that's the only item I'm gonna say how to obtain. All the rest of the items, just Google that shit, alright? Because this is the main piece. So anyway, the Sword Lance obtained after defeating Commander Gaius, which is I believe an optional boss behind Shadow Keep, which is where you fight Mesmer. Alright? So boom, you can get this, turn in his remembrance, get the Sword Lance, which comes pre-equipped with the spinning gravity thrust, which is not a bad ability, to be honest. I'm not a fan of it because it kind of locks you in a 5-second animation that you can just die from. But hey, it's a really fun ability to use. It's very anime, so boom, if you want to keep that, go ahead. But for me, luckily the Sword Lance, you can change out the Ash of War, which is not something you can normally do for a remembrance item. Okay, but we are going to attach Blood Tax to it. Now, what is Blood Tax? Blood Tax is a series of thrusts, 3 to be exact, you know, pew pew pew, and it just does piercing damage. Okay, but not only that, it's called Blood Tax because not because it does any bleed, but because it's lifesteal. All right, so it's kind of like the Ash of War repeating thrust. It's actually exactly like repeating thrust, except a little less damage and a significant amount of lifesteal. All right, so boom, and of course, why are we not using repeating thrust? Why are we using Blood Tax? Well, actually, Blood Tax is stronger than repeating thrust because of the armor set. Now, this armor set, on-box attire. It has a line on it that says slightly enhances Blood Oath and dynastic skills. Now, basically, if a skill has Blood Oath or dynastic in it, or if it's a skill that you know for sure that does blood damage or bleed buildup, most likely this armor set will buff that Ash of War. Okay? Now, if you're not for sure, go to the Elden Ring wiki, type in motherfucking On's back armor set, and it'll tell you exactly which skills. There's actually quite a few Ashes of War that get buffed by this armor set, which are videos that I will make in the future. But the first one will be Blood Tax because it involves a new weapon and it involves a new armor set, which is pretty hype. You know what I'm saying? My first few video guides in Elden Ring are probably gonna involve using new weapons for the DLC, just because that's the hype. And then I'll probably go back to old builds that got stronger, like Blasphemous Blade, that type shit. But also other bleed builds that have that can you know, benefit from this armor set. But yeah, man, this armor set definitely activates some bleed builds that were kind of mid before, like Blood Tax, but now because of the armor set, it's kind of S tier. And like I said in the intro, I'm pretty sure I beat the whole DLC, defeating all the premier bosses that you saw that you saw in less than 10 deaths. Like I said, it was very easy. It was very simple, and I was literally just spamming L2, 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 dodge, L2, L2. You know what I'm saying? So boom, Blood Sword Lance infused with bleed buildup, 121 bleed buildup with only 10 arcane. That's crazy. Okay, our main stat is strength. but we have 121 build up just because we put the bleed infusion on it. Kind of crazy. Okay, so boom. And then for secondary, by the way, this character is level 161, very doable. For our secondary, put in the short sword. You can also use a rapier, something low weight to be able to put seppuku on it, just to activate the blood buffs of White Mask and the exaltation. That's all we do that for. Okay, so boom. Finger seal to cast the incantations, which are Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength, to boost our damage even more and our damage negation. Boom, boom. Armor set, White Mask. If you're playing a bleed build, you're using the White Mask. Okay, and of course we're using the on-box set, a new set from the DLC. If you don't know how to get this set, just Google it. They'll tell you better than I can. But this set buffs a good amount of blood skills, and I'm very excited they added this set. Kind of weird they're buffing like the strongest of the strongest already, but I get it. You know, if it's strong, fuck it, make it stronger. You know what I'm saying? That's what some other gaming companies do. As far as talismans go, we're spamming our Ash of War, which means, of course, we're going to use the Shard of Alexander. Okay, and because the Ash of War there's 3 hits in succession, and you can just keep spamming it. Of course, we're going to use the Rotten Wing Sword Insignia and the Millicent Prosthesis to buff our damage. Now, if you don't want a New Game Plus to get both of these, which you kind of have to do, you can go ahead and use the Ritual Sword Talisman, or if you want to use the Defensive Talisman to negate lightning damage, or fire damage, or holy damage for the Verdun fight, by the way, Golden Braid, then you can go ahead and swap this out for a defensive slot. But I am a glass cannon offensive player, so I went ahead and put in the most offense possible. All right, so boom, gotta have the successive attack ones for this build. Gotta have it, and of course, if you're playing a bleed build, you're always gonna use Lord of Blood's Exaltation. All right, so boom, those are the items. Let's go ahead and show this. Show the motherfucking the physic. I know you guys want to see the physic. Okay, what's inside the physic? Successive attacks, Thorny Crack tier. That's it. Boom. Always use it for builds like this. All right. And the secondary one, which is this is one of the new tiers that you can get off of defeating a certain furnace golem, which is really easy, by the way. You Google that too. I'm not a fan of this tier in most builds because, you know, I'm not a very good player, so I get hit a lot. I die a lot in boss fights. All right. So having my HP already taken away from me, even though it adds like 20% damage or something like that, I'm gonna die. All right, so I don't use this tier most of the time, actually. But like I said, this Ash of War gives you a hefty amount of lifesteal. If all 3 thrusts land, that's like, I don't know, a 1/6 of your HP gained back, maybe even more. You know, I feel like I'm undervaluing it. It's a good amount of lifesteal. So it feels like you're not even using this tier. So basically, by using the Bloodsucking Crack tier, you're gaining all this attack damage without any downside, which we love. Okay, we love that. So boom, these are the 2 tiers that I would use. I wouldn't really change it out for any other 2 tiers. This is perfect 2 tiers for this build. Okay, so boom. And our spells, like I said, are incantations, Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength. If you're playing Elden Ring and you're doing a little bit of min-maxing, you're probably using both of these in some shape or form. Whether it be incantations, you're putting Golden Vow on a dagger. They just boost your damage. They work for spells. They work for physical damage. If you're playing Elden Ring, you're probably using these 2. It is what it is. All right. I know it's a little boring, but hey, 20% damage is 20% damage. You know what I'm saying? So boom. I think that's it for the items. Let's go ahead and look up. So the Great Rune I'm using, that I'm always going to be using, is the Radahn's Great Rune, because I don't have to rely on it. Obviously, everyone knows the Godric's Great Rune is the best one because it gives you 5 in all stats, which is like 30 levels of stats. Insane at high levels. But then you become dependent on it. I don't like that because again, once you die, you're great. Yeah, you have to reactivate a rune arc, and you can only get like what, 20 rune arcs per run. Very small amount, and I'm dying definitely more than 20 times in a run. Okay, this is one of the rare times where I don't, because I have a lifesteal ability. All right, but so for me, I don't like depending on my Great Rune. So for that, I use the Radahn's Great Rune, which is a nice little boost of HP, FP, and stamina. You know, things I don't need, but things that are nice to have. It's a nice luxury thing. All right, so boom, that's my Great Rune. But if you're a god, if you don't die, by all means, take the 30 levels of Godric's Great Rune. Do you? You know what I'm saying? Next is, let's show the stats. stats. Again, level 161. Most of the builds you'll see on this channel will be relatively around level 150, definitely below level 200. I know my first couple guides were way over leveled. That's because I didn't know. You know, I didn't know that, you know, the standard was around level 150. So I'm gonna respect that for the Souls for the Souls Elden Ring community. You know what I'm saying? And so I mean, still at level 150 through 200, you can still make these kind of broken builds. You know what I'm saying? And these are the stats we use: 60 vigor, soft cap for vigor, high HP. 60 vigor probably means you will not get one shot by anything. Maybe one or two abilities throughout the whole game, but not too many. 15 mind, first soft cap for mind. For me, this is a comfortable spot. I have 100 mana. I can cast all my buffs before the fight. I don't have to worry about it during the fight. 15 mind is solid for me. Unless I'm playing a pure spell casting build, I'm getting 15 mind every time, just because it's a nice little comfortable spot to have. Okay, 30 endurance, soft cap for endurance. It's nice to have. With this amount, I don't really have to worry about my endurance too much, unless I'm spamming too much or I'm rolling too much. 30 endurance is a good, nice cushion for me. Boom. And of course, our main stat is our strength stat. Okay, main stat is our strength stat, and we want to boost this as high as possible to boost our physical damage as much as possible. All right, 15 dexterity. We get the 5 dex from one of our talismans. We don't need any dexterity at all. I think actually this gives us wearing the Millicent prosthesis allows us to wear this weapon, which actually requires a little bit of dexterity. So boom. And of course 25 faith to be able to cast Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength. Okay, and those are the stats. This is probably the lowest level version of it. If you want to take some more levels off, just take 20 levels off of strength and put 60 strength, and it'll perform just fine. It'll be like what, 100 less attack power, maybe even less than that. Not a big deal. Okay, but this is definitely the most optimized version for me, at least, you know. So I'm not dying too much. I'm staying comfy. I have medium load for medium roll, and it should be all good for there. Okay, and that's it, man. That's the build. Very easy, very fun. Look, this is the character. Boom. Okay, this is what the build. This is what the skill looks like. This is it. You're gonna spam L. You're gonna do all your buffs like this. Boom. Okay, a little Golden Vow. You know what I'm saying? A little Flame Grant Me Strength, you know what I'm saying? A little Seppuku, you know what I'm saying? Drink a little mana pot before the fight, you know? Drink a little health pot before the fight, because you're taking that blood-sucking damage. Boom, two-handed, and then... That's it. It's a very fast Ash of War. Okay? This has a lot of damage, a lot of bleed buildup, and it gives you life steal. It's kind of insane. Again, it was very easy to beat the DLC. As you can see that Radahn has been defeated here. It took me like 2 tries. It's kind of insane. So, hey, hopefully you guys enjoyed the build. Very, very fun for me. I'm trying to find, so, like I said, for these build guys, I'm trying to find, you know, a new weapon or a new Ash of War or something new to use that came out in the DLC. Those are the build guides I'm focusing on first. And then, you know, once those run out, or once I don't find any ones that I'm interested in, I'm going to go back to the old builds that got stronger, like Blasphemous Blade, like Rivers of Blood, that type of shit. You know, I got a lot of build guides planned. I also want to do a New Game Plus 7 run, you know what I'm saying? Because that's fun. I'll pick like the best build that I've done, or that felt the easiest to play the game with, a New Game 7, and just delete everything, you know what I mean? And then I also want to do a Rune Level 1 run. I think I already have a build plan for that, but you know, challenge myself. That's what I did for the normal game. That's what I want to do for the DLC. Challenging Radahn at level 1 sounds fucking insane, but it's something I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, a lot of Elden Ring content, and of course, if you want to watch any of the live gameplay, you can go to my Twitch, Kodakobe, twitch.tv/Kodakobe. I plan on streaming on my YouTube too. I plan on multi-streaming because why not? Why the fuck not? You know, on this channel. And yeah, man, cool. So anyway, if you guys enjoy the content, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good shit, all the algorithm stuff. And I'll see y'all next video, all right? Peace. I'm gonna fuck with y'all.